Welcome to today's Explainer. If you own a home around the Chicago area, you already know that the weather here isn't just unpredictable, it is absolutely relentless. So today we're bringing you the ultimate Maywood homeowners roofing survival guide. We're going to dive into some incredibly detailed data and insights from Patriot Roofing Chicago to break down exactly what it takes to protect your home from those harsh Midwestern elements. All right, let's jump right in.
60 miles per hour. That is the speed of those severe thunderstorm winds sweeping through Cook County. And you know what's kind of terrifying? That's exactly what your roof is up against, not just once, but multiple times a year. So, your roof, it isn't just a hat for your house, right? It's a highly engineered shield, literally designed to take a 60-mile-per-hour beating so you can sleep soundly at night.
So here is our roadmap for this explainer. We're going to cover Maywood's unique weather threats, spotting common roof problems, building codes and proper ventilation, the professional replacement process, and finally, costs and avoiding scams. Basically, we're taking you straight from diagnosing the threats to fully protecting your biggest financial investment.
All right, Section 1, Maywood's unique weather threats. Because, honestly, out in this specific part of Illinois, the flat terrain turns pretty much every single roof into a high-stakes battleground. Think about it. Your roof gets absolutely zero time off across the 4 seasons. It's wild. In winter, you've got these brutal freeze-thaw cycles that crack shingles and completely compromise the metal flashing around your chimneys. Then spring rolls in, delivering those 60-mile-per-hour winds and hail that just tear the protective granules right off. Summer brings intense heat expansion, literally baking the materials. And fall? Fall dumps leaves that clog up your roof's valleys, trapping standing water. It's a relentless year-round attack on an aging roof system. And local geography actually plays a massive role here too. If your home happens to be near Maywood Park, Roosevelt Road, or say the Eisenhower Expressway, well, you have what's known as open exposure, meaning there are no natural windbreaks. This flat terrain, combined with those open corridors, it literally channels the wind, amplifying the impact and those crazy uplift forces on your shingles. Your house is essentially taking the absolute full force of these storm systems.
Moving on to Section 2. Spotting common roof problems. So how do all these invisible, high-wind, crazy temperature-swinging weather threats actually manifest into visible, physical symptoms on your house?
Let's talk about one of the most destructive winter phenomena out there, the ice dam. Technically, it's a destructive ridge of ice at the edge of a roof that prevents melting snow from draining off. But how does that even happen? Well, imagine this. Heat escapes through a poorly insulated attic, right? That melts the snow on the upper parts of your roof. The water runs down to the cold eaves, the edges, and then it refreezes. And boom, you've got an ice dam.
Now here's the crucial point. The real danger isn't that chunk of ice hanging off your gutters. It's what is happening behind the ice. That dam traps new meltwater, literally forcing it to back up under your shingles. Suddenly, you've got water leaking inside your walls, completely saturating your insulation and creating the absolute perfect breeding ground for mold. The true scary damage is almost entirely hidden from the outside. And trust me, you do not want to wait for mold to show up. So here are the early warning signs of failure you can actually look for today. Are you seeing excessive shingle granules washing into your gutters? Are your shingles curling or maybe lifting up at the edges? Have you noticed any unexplained water stains on your ceiling or maybe rotting fascia boards, that wood right behind your gutters? If you're spotting any of these, your roof is basically flashing a giant warning light at you before a minor issue turns into a total midnight emergency. Okay, Section 3, Building Codes and Proper Ventilation. This is where we get into the hidden science of roofing, showing how a professional roof is actually a complex, breathing system governed by some very strict rules.
I want to pose a slightly provocative question here. Why do shingles die early? We literally just spent all this time talking about brutal weather, right? But the twist is, the biggest enemy of your roof isn't always the weather outside. Actually, sometimes it's what's happening inside your own attic.
Here's the deal. Cook County building codes require balanced ventilation. Specifically, they use the 1-150 rule. That means you need 1 square foot of ventilation for every 150 square feet of attic space, perfectly mixing the intake and exhaust air. Without that balance, you get trapped heat and moisture, and that will shorten your shingle life by 30%, not to mention driving your summer cooling costs completely through the roof. If it can't breathe, your roof is literally baking itself to death up there.
And those codes go even further to protect you. The International Residential Code mandates ice and water barriers along the eaves for any area where the average January temperature drops below 30 degrees, which, let's face it, Maywood absolutely falls into that category. So compliance with these strict Illinois building standards is what actually shields your home from that catastrophic freeze-thaw destruction we were just talking about.
All right, let's look at the solution in Section 4, the professional replacement process. Getting a new roof can definitely be stressful, so let's just completely demystify it and outline exactly what happens during a professional replacement.
A solid, proper contractor is going to use a streamlined three-step process. Step 1 is a comprehensive inspection and assessment. They're checking the flashing, the ventilation, the decking, not just the shingles. Step 2 is the actual professional installation, using those highly specific, code-compliant materials we just learned about. And Step 3, that's the final walkthrough. A true professional is even going to sweep your lawn and driveway with a giant magnet so you don't end up with a roofing nail in your car tire. It's really all about property protection and total transparency.
Now, if you're sitting there worried about your home being a messy construction zone for weeks on end, let's alleviate that fear right now. Most standard residential roof replacements are fully completed in just 1 to 3 days. Seriously. The old roof comes off, the new one goes on, the dumpsters are hauled away, and it's done before you even know it.
Which brings us to Section 5, costs and avoiding scams. This is arguably the most crucial part for your wallet, learning how to navigate the financial pitfalls of the roofing industry.
You know, you might think the shingles themselves are the biggest line item on a quote, but actually, it's labor. Skilled professionals doing heavy tear-off, responsible disposal, and precision installation, all while safely navigating steep heights. That is what truly drives the cost of a safe, code-compliant replacement. Materials come next, followed by hidden factors like decking repairs for rotten wood, and of course local dump fees for the waste removal.
And because labor and materials are costly, scams unfortunately do exist out there. So here are the absolute red flags of a dishonest roofer. If they refuse to give you a written estimate, run. If they demand full payment up front, run. If they lack local Maywood references, or if they use those high-pressure, you gotta sign right this second sales tactics, walk away immediately. You are totally empowered to spot and avoid these shady operators.
Oh, and here is another huge financial trap you need to avoid: the cheap roof over. Some contractors will offer to just slap new shingles directly over your old ones to save on labor and disposal. Guys, that is a terrible idea. A roof over hides existing rot, it adds massive structural weight to your house, and it severely limits the new roof's lifespan. A full replacement is really the only way to inspect the decking beneath, ensure proper code compliance, and actually get long-term value for your money.
All of this builds to perhaps the most surprising and high-stakes fact in this entire explainer. Listen to this. Under Illinois law, if you hire an independent contractor who doesn't have workers' compensation insurance just to save a few bucks, and they fall off your roof, they can sue you, the property owner. Always verify a contractor's liability and workers' comp insurance. A cheap, uninsured roofer could literally end up costing you more than the house itself. Which perfectly brings us to this really powerful summary quote from the source material. Quality installation matters more than timing the market. Trying to wait for material prices to miraculously drop while your aging roof actively leaks is just a losing game. The hidden interior wall damage and that rotting insulation we talked about, that will end up costing you vastly more than whatever you thought you'd save by waiting. So, I want to leave you with this final thought today. The next time you pull into the driveway, look up at your house and ask yourself, is your roof a hidden liability that's quietly failing from the inside out? Or is it a proven, well-ventilated shield completely ready for the next 60-mile-per-hour Chicago storm? Don't wait for the weather to answer that question for you. Take a walk outside, look for those warning signs, and take some proactive steps to protect your home. Thanks for joining me for this explainer, and we'll catch you next time.